We have to shift from the or conversation, like, oh, if I follow my heart, oh, then I can't make money because it's an or. It's this or that. It's an and. It's both. It's both. It's not the red pill or the blue pill from the Matrix. It's both. It's like you can have both. You can get paid and follow your heart's desires. Hey, everybody, what is going on? Julie Murphy here, and we are going to talk about how do you shift to your heart's desires and make money at the same time, right? Um, so don't forget to hit that subscribe, like, and notification bell because I'm going to help you get to a life that you absolutely love because most people don't shift their lives because they fiscally don't know how they're going to. Well, in 28 years of being a financial planner, guess what? I have figured that out through a couple of my books, The Emotion Behind Money, as well as Awaken Your Wealth. And I'm super excited. My next book is coming out soon to help you get to a life that you love. And so let's talk about your heart's desires. So I am finding a lot of clients are super challenged these days because whether they've stayed in, actually, those who have shifted and moved their jobs are way happier and getting bigger bonuses, bigger pay raises, more stock options, and things of that nature. But it's because they really chose to operate their lives from their heart as opposed to their head. Because a lot of times, at my wealth management firm, JMC Wealth Management, we actually help clients one-on-one decipher, like, what is your right brain telling you to do and what is your left brain telling you to do? And how do you then balance that with your finances? Not an easy thing when you don't recognize that that's why you have a challenge with your, it's a battle between your heart and your head, right? And your emotions are in your right brain. So we have to calm that left brain down because if we really only made these decisions from our left brain logical, which our whole entire educational system around the world has actually taught us to do that we actually recreate the past. Because again, from the research from Dr. Bruce Lipton, talks about that 95% of the time, our response to the external world comes from our subconscious mind, our amygdala. And only 5% of it is about your experiences. So when we look at it from that perspective, if you keep logically making financial decisions, you're going to keep recreating your past. Let me give you an example of this. So for me, in my world, one of the things that comes up is the fact that I've always done the responsible thing, the prudent thing, the logical thing, the thing that, you know, was quote unquote the right thing to do because I was being a good girl and making sure I checked all the boxes. Well, then this disconnect happens going, oh, my heart wants to go over here, but then I'm running it through the filter of being responsible, logical, and prudent. And well, there's the disconnect, right? And I know many of you out there are like that. Now, you might be the creative person who always flies by the seat of their pants and you follow your heart all the time. Well, then your money's a mess, right? Like I ran into early on in my career, I had a roommate that worked at a big ad agency, and there's a lot of creative people who work for ad agencies. And so the work that I did in the world complemented these employees very much so. And so I came to learn a lot about how right brainers think in the world. And it's really just about the fact that because when you're so creative and you're so out there from a design element and a creativity and innovation, it's like, how do you ground this in? And how do you pull it down? So you have the extremes on the logical side, and then you have the extremes on the creative innovation side. And we need that happy balance in both because that's actually what makes the world go round. So the solution here that I have come to over the years is that you have to start with your heart's desires and then you have to back that up with your logic and being prudent and fiscally responsible. But then how do you do that, right? Well, it all starts with tapping into that heart, that big, beautiful heart of yours that you've likely throughout the years have left it on the sidelines. So after this video, I'm actually going to do a couple videos to drill down in certain aspects of our lives. And this is what I do when I work with people one-on-one or in my group coaching. And by all means, if you want to know when those are coming up, the group coaching, go to juliemurphy.com, give us your email address, and we'll let you know when that's coming because we're having quantum leap change in these people's lives because they're not sure how to fiscally shift and then get to the next place, right? Because you can't just jump off the ledge. We have a limiting belief around the world. It's a financial limiting belief that says, oh, if I follow my heart's desire, so you like work for like the Peace Corps, well, then all of a sudden you don't get paid anything. I had a client, he was a CFO. So he financially ran this organization. And then I realized what organization he worked for. He worked for a charity. And I was like, oh, so normally when I hear that if you work for a charity, you don't make any, oh, you're a CFO. Okay, CFOs make a couple hundred grand a year. But this guy didn't make a couple hundred grand a year. That's what was in my mind. And then when I start peeling away the onion and going, he makes $240,000 a year. I'm like, can you explain to me how you work for a charity and you make $240,000 a year? This is what I want to point out to you guys. We have to shift from the or conversation, like, oh, if I follow my heart, oh, then I can't make money because it's an or. It's this or that. It's an and. It's both. It's both. It's not the red pill or the blue pill from the Matrix. It's both. It's like you can have both. You can get paid and follow your heart's desires. This is a awareness and a consciousness piece that actually is systemic around the world. And I want us to trust and to believe that we can now get to this place of going leaps and bounds by having the and conversation in our heart's desires. So you just have to be willing to start to brainstorm and start to dive deep into what does your heart want today? Now, the way that we look at it is I want you to see it from different avenues. I want you to look at it not only from your financial life, I want you to look at it from your family life or lack thereof or surrogate family life. It doesn't have to be blood, right? It's just however you choose to define it. Your work life, your career, want to look at it from that vantage point. And then also you personally, like, are you personally living the life that you want to live that it's really not about? Actually, that's probably the most important one because remember, we either work things out or we act it out and we do it through our health, through our money, or through our relationships. So if that's the case, what are we doing in choosing to plug into the world? Like, because remember, you are the creator of your life. You are choosing how your life is showing up today, which almost feels not real on some level to so many people, but you are. And when you realize how powerful you are, when you choose to come from a place of empowerment, as opposed to a place of scarcity and victim, then and know that systems today are not shown to keep you in your power. They are shown to like actually make you question yourself more and doubt yourself. But I want you to start to build that muscle of your intuition, your financial intuition. Let's talk about financial intuition as an example. I will ask people if they have these two choices and they're like, well, I'm not sure if I should go this way or if I should go that way. Fork in the road. Think of it like a fork in the road. And I will say to them, you know what? Which one makes you giggle more? They look at me like I have 10 holes in my head. I'm like, giggle? Like, well, which one's more prudent? And which one's more logical? Which one's more responsible? Well, what would you do, Julie? Or what do most people do? Like, people ask me for what everybody else is doing so that they can make their decision based on what everybody else does. That's an outside job, not an inside job. I need your answers to come from the inside, not the outside. Why? Because that's you building the muscle of actually building your wealth from the inside out and following your financial intuition. So, because our bodies have history in them. And if it gives you anxiety, if it makes you depressed, if you feel contracted, it's not the right answer ever. Because if you go into, so for an example, I had a woman the other day, she's set that logically sell her more expensive place and get a cheaper place to live in. And I said, well, how does that make you feel? Well, it doesn't make her feel expansive. It makes her feel more contracted. Like then her shame and her blame and the guilt and everything starts to pile on like a ton of bricks, right? You cannot get to a life that you love and follow your heart's desire if you feel like you're contracting, because you're lowering your energetic vibration, and that is not where manifestation comes from. You won't manifest the love that you want in your life. You won't manifest the money you want in your life or the employment that you desire in your life if you're making decisions that make you feel more contracted. You have to choose things that are more expansive. Now, what will naturally happen is that things will try to gnaw at you to pull you back into your old patterning. You need to be relentless. You absolutely need to be relentless. So, as you consider trying to shift into this place of really manifesting your heart's desires, I need you to be tenacious, and I need you to really love yourself enough to say, you know what? This is the financial life that I want. This is what I want my cash flows to be. This is the debt that I want. Like, I realized recently, like, I don't like debt. I didn't realize that recently. I've known it all along. But our society is set up to like get mortgages. And then I was totally set. And then I got divorced. And I was like, now, to give him half, I had to do this over here. Whatever. It is what it is. But what I know is I like the freedom of no debt. I feel free as a bird and happy as the day is long because I don't have the debt. And so, what is it that you want? What do you want to create in your life? And I'm going to do a few videos after this to drill down in those different areas of your life, from your family life, your personal life. And then I'm also going to do life stages and life events, because there are different life stages and life events that pertain to different people. So if you're pre-retired, that's going to be something different than someone who's having their first baby. So I want to start to apply your heart's desire to these areas of your life, depending on what life stage and life event that you're in. So stay tuned, and don't forget to hit that subscribe, like, and notification bell, because we're going to get you to a life that you love because you deserve it. And guess what? We're all going to be happier, and then we can raise the energy grid for everybody else. And we're not going to worry about all this stuff in the world that we can't do anything about. Okay? And that includes like Twitter and, with who's owning it, Vanguard or Nikola Tesla. You know what? Who knows who's going to own, with Elon Musk owning, who knows? Who cares? Okay. I don't want to say who cares. That's actually probably a poor choice of words. But what I want to say is it in your wheelhouse to control? Is it in your wheelhouse of something you can do about it? Maybe it is, maybe it's not, depending on who's watching the video. What you need to do is go inside and create an amazing life for yourself and be the amazing person that affects everybody else around them so that they up-level their lives. So everybody starts to uptick and start to love their life, because that's how you change the world one at a time. Talk to you soon. Bye.